Hey guys, today I'm making a couple batches of cookie dough so that I can bake some cookies tomorrow for Christmas Eve to pass out to everybody. So I'm going to do this first recipe is for oatmeal scotchies. If you've ever had those, they're super yummy. So I'm going to do my dry ingredients first. Need 1 cup of flour. And it doesn't say to sift them, but I always like to sift my dry ingredients when I'm baking. And then we need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Let me check that. Yeah, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we got a 1/2 teaspoon each of salt and cinnamon. I like to do the salt away from the bowl because one time I accidentally poured a whole bunch of salt in that I didn't want. 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamons. Okay. And then I'm going to sift all these together. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to soften up my butter just briefly in the microwave here. Chicken wine, blah blah blah, salsa, butter, sugar, brown sugar, eggs, and vanilla. Okay. That seems pretty good. So the reason these cookies are so yummy is because they got a whole lot of butter in them. So 2 sticks of butter in these bad boys. I'm having to run the generator because it is cloudy and rainy today, so we don't have much solar power going on. So 2 sticks of butter and then 3/4 cups of sugar. Half a cup. And then 3/4 cup of brown sugar, which I already got out. And then 2 eggs and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I've always really enjoyed baking. When we had our house, I used to make 12 different kinds of cookies for Christmas and pass them out to everybody. It'd be a whole production that took about 3-4 days. A little bit harder to do in the RV. I think I'm going to do 2 kinds of cookies. Alright, so then we're going to mix this up. See if I can do this without knocking everything over. I need to get my scraper out. This thingy. Alright. Alright, that looks pretty good. Scrape that off. Comes Ed. What's up, babe?
You filming?
I'm trying to film myself baking cookies. We'll see how it turns out.
Are you gonna edit certain parts?
Maybe.
Am I gonna be on it?
Possibly.
Do you have any ones in your... I'm gonna get cleaned up.
You're gonna what?
Get cleaned up.
Okay. I don't think I have any ones left. Is that what you're asking? Okay, spin them all. Alright, so now we've got that, and we're gonna add just our flour mixture and then our oats. So I'm probably gonna do half the flour mix and blend it up and add the other half. Probably should have left these on. Alright, that's good enough. So now we need to add in this 3 cups of oats. Got the oats right here. We'll do 3 cups of these. And then our bag of Butterscotch Chips. Bam. Now I find the easiest way to mix dough like this is to just hang on. Is to just glove up and mix it with my hand. My hands are clean, so I could just use my hand, but it's really hard to clean your hand after you've used it to mix. Plus it's kind of fun feeling it all squishy in there. I feel like it just gets it mixed up better when I use my hand. Not to make too much of a mess here. So once this is all mixed up, you just plop them on a cookie sheet, and I think you do 375. $375 for 7 to 8 minutes, or it says you can spread it into a pan and make bars. I wonder if I should do that. I'm gonna do that. Easier. Spread them into a pan and just chop them up into bars. That's a great idea. I've never tried that before. I think I might try that because I have a very small cookie sheet in the RV here. Can only bake a few at a time. Back when I had the house, I'd have 2 cookie sheets going at once, you know, 2 large ones. You could crank out a lot of cookies that way. Alright, this looks pretty good. So I'm probably just going to make the doughs today and then do the baking tomorrow. I find that's a lot easier and more enjoyable. And tomorrow I just have my doughs ready and I just bake them and have some Christmas music on in the background. It's fun. Alright, so I'm going to get set up for the next dough. Alright, so I got all my stuff cleaned up and rinsed off, and I'm ready to start on the next one, which is sugar cookies. And it's my grandma's recipe. I still have her recipe card in her handwriting, so I really kind of cherish that. So for this one, we will need 2 cups of flour. Looks like this flour is almost gone, but I have another one. I like to cut the bag and make it shorter. It's easier to get into. I don't think I quite have 2 cups left in this one. There's one. And this usually makes a mess. I'm going to try and get the rest out. It's just too risky. I have a new flour right here. This one's going to make a mess. Fit in there. I like to scoop it in, shake it off in the bag. Okay, there's our 2 cups of flour. Then we're going to need 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. This is kind of cold and hard, but we won't tell. It all mixes in the same, right? Break it up a little bit. So there's 1.5. And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna eyeball this. About half a teaspoon. That's a little too much. Oop. There we go. Sift these. I don't have an actual sifter anymore, but I feel like this works just as good. I had to get rid of a lot of my baking stuff when we moved into the RV just because there's not room. I was, in fact, spent most of the morning today looking for my cookie cutters because I swear I kept them. I kept all my little sprinkles and frosting things, but I can't find the cookie cutters. So I think all of these I'm going to use a mason jar ring, and they're all just going to be circles, so that'll actually be easier. Oh, and the last dough, this is the oatmeal scotchy dough. I just wrapped it in wax paper and put it in a Ziploc bag, and I'll keep it in the fridge until I bake tomorrow. Alright, now this one calls for 2/3 of a cup of shortening. I like to use these Crisco bars because you can just cut off the amount you need. And it's already got it marked for you, so 2/3 is right here. And we can save this little chunk for another project. Put that in. I better check the directions. Okay, sugar. We're going to add the sugar, vanilla, cream that, and then add the eggs, says Grandma's recipe. Grandma's recipe also calls for some grated orange peel, which I don't have, and to be honest, I've never used in this recipe. But it does add nice, a nice flavor. So then 3/4 cup sugar, there's 1/2 and 1/4. And then we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Get my scraper. again, once it gets to this point, I like to get my glove out and use my hand. I should have got more gloves out last time. So I get it nice and mixed up, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it in a ball, form it into a ball, put it in some wax paper, and then a Ziploc bag, and chill it down until tomorrow. It's looking really good. Alright, there we have it. Sugar cookie dough. So I decided to go ahead and also do a batch of chocolate chips because I was thinking about how many people are here camped with us, and I want to make sure there's enough for everybody. So this is just a basic chocolate chip. I'm going to do 3 cups of flour. 1. That's a lot, is that right? 3 cups. 2. 3 cups of flour. And then some 1 teaspoon each of baking soda and salt. Very full. We're going to attempt to sift this without making too huge of a mess. It's already going horribly wrong. There we go. Just a little bit full. Okay, so minor mess, that's alright. Set that one aside. I softened up the butter. Again, this one calls for 2 sticks of butter. That's why these things taste so good. It's also why when I make cookies I try to give most of them away, because clearly I don't need to eat any more cookies. Very soft, it's hard to come out. Okay. So there's our butter, and then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And 2 eggs. Uh-oh, did I forget to clean? Nope, you're there. Alright, we're gonna mix this up. Try and keep the cord out of the way, but am cheating a little bit because I don't quite have a full bag of chocolate chips, but hopefully that won't matter. They're big chocolate chips, so they're also dark chocolate, which I like to use dark chocolate. Because then it's healthy for you, right? I actually normally make them with milk chocolate, but all I have is those dark chocolate chips, so. So I'm gonna get this all mixed up, and same thing, put it into a ball, wrap it in the wax paper, and put it in a Ziploc bag, and put it in the fridge till tomorrow. So then tomorrow, all I have to do is bake, which is the fun part. That's easier. Throw it in the oven, set the timer, wait for everything to smell amazing. And I'll probably make some frosting for the sugar cookies. I feel like it's a lot of work for one day when you add in all the cleanup and everything too. I want it to be enjoyable, so that's why I like to divide it up this way. Alright, we'll see you tomorrow for baking. Good morning, Bandit. It's Christmas Eve. Just look, leave me alone, I'm sleeping. What are you up to, Luna? What are you doing? Staring out the window? Alright, so I'm up early. I'm ready to start baking. I got my Christmas movie going. It's A Christmas Story. Classic. I've got my cookie doughs warming up to room temperature to make them easier to work with. And here's my tiny little cookie sheet. So, curious to see how long it will take to bake up all these doughs. I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. Well, I got so excited to finish up my cookies and pass them out that I forgot to film my finished product. I had them all laid out on nice platters, but while there's still some left, so there's the chocolate chip and the oatmeal scotchies, and there's my sugar cookies with frosting and sprinkles. And I already went and just passed them out to everybody. I'm exhausted, out of breath. Now I'm going to go take a break. Hope you enjoyed this video.